Is it possible that a laugh at the end of the year could turn into a danger alarm for millions of people around the world? And could a single movement that looks trivial be enough to threaten the future of BTS's golden magne in what is being called their year of resurgence? That was the question that exploded in ARMY's minds when a video lasting only a few seconds suddenly resurfaced, went viral, and triggered massive panic right on the brink of the year's transition, as if the universe had deliberately slipped a dark clue behind the euphoria of Happy New Year 2026 from BTS. That night was supposed to be a night of celebration. The year 2025 closed with smiles, digital fireworks, and hopeful greetings from idols who had long been awaited to return in a complete formation. Yet amid the noise of New Year's wishes, a short clip that seemed harmless instead crept in like a shadow. Re-uploaded, cut, slowed down, and analyzed frame by fans, the video showed one moment now considered crucial: Jungkook, the golden magne, falling with his head angled downward toward the floor after being playfully thrown by Kim Seokjin, an action many fans immediately likened to a WWE-style wrestling move. Funny? Maybe. Dangerous? This is where the debate began, and where collective panic was born. The video first regained widespread attention on Wednesday, December 31, 2025, when the fanbase account at jimochii on Platform X re-uploaded the clip with a short but provocative caption, "Jungkook, what in the WWE is going on?" That simple sentence worked like a match in a dry field. Within minutes, thousands of comments flooded the post. Not with laughter, but with worry, anger, and an almost instinctive sense of protectiveness. Armies from all over the world seemed to stop counting down the seconds to 2026 and instead stared back at a single moment from the past with their hearts beating faster. And the approximately 14-second clip, the initial atmosphere looks warm and domestic, far from the image of a grand stage and concert spotlights. The BTS members are sitting casually on a sofa, surrounded by decorations that immediately associate the moment with the end of the year. A Christmas tree standing behind them, soft and calming lighting, and casual outfits such as black hoodies, leather jackets, thick sweaters, and beanies that give an intimate, almost living room-like impression. Jungkook appears relaxed, his body leaning comfortably, his face unburdened, like someone who feels safe among those closest to him. But that calm shatters in a fraction of a second. From behind, Jin approaches and performs a movement that to some looks like ordinary physical joking between close friends. Jungkook is thrown backward over the sofa, his body flipping, and in one frame that has now become the center of attention, his head is seen angled down toward the floor at an angle that made many fans instinctively hold their breath. The movement is fast, almost rough when slowed down, and although Jungkook quickly gets back up without visibly crying out in pain, the moment leaves a visual trace that is hard to ignore. The reactions of the other members around them only intensified the discussion. Some laugh freely, some look shocked, and others appear to react in ways that some armies consider inappropriate. RM, for instance, is caught on camera seeming more concerned about the condition of the sofa than Jungkook himself. A small detail that was later magnified within a narrative shaped by fans overwhelmed with anxiety. In a fandom world accustomed to reading even the smallest gestures, not a single second is ever truly neutral. What makes the situation even more emotional is the timing of the video's reappearance. The clip is not new footage, but an old recording made at the end of 2025. However, it's resurfacing on the very last day of the year. Alongside the euphoria of BTS's New Year 2026 greetings, created a sharp and unsettling contrast. On one side, armies were shown images of Jungkook looking healthy, energetic, waving enthusiastically, laughing brightly, and radiating optimism after officially completing his mandatory military service in June 2025. On the other side, there was a brief visual fragment that seemed to whisper, "What if everything isn't as safe as it looks?" From here, concern began to take on a more serious form. Fan comments were no longer just expressions of shock, but shifted into layperson analyses of medical risks. "He could have suffered a deep injury to his neck," wrote one user, in a tone reflecting genuine fear rather than mere online drama. Others emphasized that physical joking is not always appropriate when it involves someone's health, especially someone like Jungkook, whose body is the primary instrument of his career. There were even extreme comments using warning emojis and hyperbolic phrases like, "He is trying to okay," LL him, which, while clearly exaggerated, revealed the intensity of the emotions involved. At this point, the discussion was no longer about whether Jin had malicious intent. The majority of ARMY agreed that there was no bad intention behind the action. However, as repeatedly stressed in the comment sections, means no harm doesn't mean it is right. This sentence became something of a new mantra amid the panic, a reminder that good intentions do not always eliminate risk. For fans, especially those who have followed Jungkook's journey since his debut as a teenager, any potential injury feels personal, almost like a threat to a family member. Academically speaking, this concern is not unfounded. Sudden movements involving the neck and spine are indeed known to be risky if performed without proper control. An extremely flexed head position, even for a short time, can cause strain on the neck muscles or, in the worst cases, injury to spinal structures. Although there are no official reports stating that Jungkook suffered an injury from the incident, the absence of medical confirmation actually opens wider space for speculation. In the modern fandom world, information gaps are often filled with assumptions, analyses, and collective anxiety. Equally important is Jungkook's own symbolism. As the Golden Magne, he is not only the youngest member of BTS, but also a representation of resilience, dedication, and the group's future. Post-military service, Jungkook is seen as a central figure in the narrative of BTS's resurgence into a new era. The year 2026 has long been predicted by ARMY as the year of BTS, a phase expected to bring a full OT7 reunion, a new album, and a world tour awaited for years. In this context, a single playful yet potentially dangerous video feels like a threat to a much larger collective dream. It is therefore unsurprising that ARMY's reaction went beyond the bounds of ordinary social media commentary. This was not merely a response to a joke video deemed excessive, but a reflection of the emotional responsibility fans feel toward their idols. In ARMY's eyes, Jungkook is not just an entertainer, but a symbol of hope, hard work, and BTS's continuity into the future. Every movement of his body, every facial expression, and every potential risk surrounding him is treated with an almost scientific level of scrutiny. To the end of that New Year's night, as virtual fireworks faded and greetings turned into reflection, one question continued to echo across timelines. Was this WWE moment truly harmless, or was it a quiet warning about how fragile an idol's body can be behind the strong image always presented? That question remains unanswered, and it is precisely there that its power lies. It hangs, presses, and forces everyone, fans, media, and even BTS themselves, to re-examine the boundaries between joking, professionalism, and safety. And when the clock officially ticked over to 2026, one thing became clear. For ARMY, the new year began not only with hope, but also with deep anxiety, an anxiety born of love, and a love too great to ignore even a single second of video that appears trivial. This chapter is only the beginning of a wave of discussion, speculation, and reflection that will continue to grow, as the world tries to answer one major question that has yet to find its conclusion. If a single second of video can shake millions of emotions, then what is actually at stake behind it? Jungkook's health, the limits of what is considered acceptable joking between members, or the illusion that idols are always safe simply because they appear strong? This question has begun to shift ARMY's conversation from mere spontaneous reactions toward deeper, almost academic reflection on the body of a K-pop idol and how that body is treated, even by those closest to him. As the WWE action video continued to be replayed, the discussion evolved. It began with shock, then turned into concern, and eventually grew into a long debate about injury risks, the dynamics of relationships among BTS members, and fans' expectations regarding idol safety standards. ARMY no longer asked only, "Is Jungkook okay?" But also, why could a moment like this happen, and why are we only realizing its danger now? In K-pop culture, physical joking between members is nothing new. Many groups are known for rough yet affectionate interactions, often marketed as proof of emotional closeness. BTS themselves, since their rookie days, have frequently shown dynamics that are playful, spontaneous, and without distance. However, the context of time has changed. Jungkook is no longer a teenage newcomer. He is a grown man, a global performer with a packed schedule, extreme physical demands, and an almost inhuman weight of expectations. Any potential injury now carries far greater implications than it did a decade ago. This is where ARMY began to connect the video with basic medical knowledge. Many fans, even without medical backgrounds, understand that the neck is one of the most vulnerable parts of the body. The cervical spine supports the head and protects vital nerves that connect the brain to the rest of the body. Sudden movements, especially those involving hyperflexion or abrupt pressure, can cause muscle strain, ligament injuries, or in extreme cases, neurological damage. The fact that Jungkook landed with his head angled toward the floor, even briefly, was enough to trigger alarm in the minds of anyone who understands these risks. The absence of an obvious pain reaction from Jungkook created an emotional paradox. On one hand, fans want to believe that he is fine, that his body is strong enough to withstand such joking. On the other hand, they know that athletes, dancers, and professional performers are often accustomed to enduring pain, or at least not showing it openly. Jungkook is known as someone who rarely complains, even when injured or exhausted. This track record is precisely what makes ARMY more protective, because Jungkook's silence does not automatically mean the absence of risk. Responses toward Jin also became a sensitive topic. Many fans emphasized that Jin had no malicious intent, and that the action arose from a relaxed atmosphere and mutual comfort among the members. However, in an era where every gesture can be publicly analyzed, good intentions are not always enough to silence criticism. For some ARMY, this incident became a symbol of the need for new boundaries in physical interaction, especially when it involves a member who carries much of BTS's future attention and workload. Reactions toward other members, particularly RM, also reflected how collective emotion can magnify small details. A single frame in which RM appeared to check the sofa before Jungkook turned into a narrative about insensitivity, even though the actual context may have been far more complex. This phenomenon shows how modern fandom works. Every visual fragment can be reinterpreted according to the dominant emotion at the time. When worry leads, even neutral expressions can be read as negligence. Interestingly, the discussion did not stop at individuals but spread to larger structures. ARMY began questioning how management and BTS's internal environment handle the members' physical safety off stage. If risks still exist behind the scenes, in relaxed settings without professional cameras, then what standards of caution should be applied? This question is not an accusation, but a reflection of a fandom that has grown more mature and aware that their idols are human beings with real physical limits. The contrast between two images of Jungkook at the end of 2025 further intensified these emotions. On one side, there is Jungkook in the New Year greeting clip, full of energy, bright smiles, and confident gestures that seem to mark BTS's full return after military service. On the other side, there is Jungkook falling unexpectedly, his body flipped, his head nearly touching the floor. These two images collide, creating a narrative tension that is hard to ignore. Is Jungkook as strong as we see? Or is he more vulnerable than he wants to show? For ARMY, this concern is also fueled by collective memories of other idol injury incidents in the K-pop industry. The industry's long history is filled with stories of performers suffering serious injuries due to excessive training, minor accidents that were ignored, or jokes that ended tragically. These memories serve as an emotional backdrop that makes a single short video feel much heavier. This is not contextless paranoia, but a response shaped by fandom's long experience with the Korean entertainment industry. Yet amid the panic, voices also emerged trying to balance the narrative. Some ARMY reminded others that there were no official reports of Jungkook being injured, that he appeared fine after the incident, and that excessive speculation could create additional pressure on the idol himself. "Thank God JK is fine, hopefully no injury," wrote one fan, a sentence that reflects emotional duality, gratitude mixed with lingering concern. Ultimately, the discussion led to an ironic temporary conclusion. The video itself may not be dangerous, or at least may not have resulted in a serious injury. However, its emotional impact is very real. It reopened conversations about boundaries, safety, and responsibility, both within the group and between idols and fans. It also revealed how fragile emotional trust can be when it is built upon images of physical strength and professionalism. AS night turned into mourning and timelines filled with New Year resolutions. One message was repeatedly echoed by ARMY: the hope that BTS, especially Jungkook, will be more careful in the future. This hope is not a ban on joking or showing closeness, but a request born from love too great to take even the smallest risk. In the shadow of 2026, often called a major era for BTS, Jungkook's body has become the greatest symbol of what is at stake, not only for the group's career, but for the emotions of millions who have grown alongside them. Behind viral laughter and jokes that seem trivial, there are always consequences waiting to be realized. The question has now shifted. No longer simply is Jungkook injured, but what will BTS and ARMY learn from this moment before stepping further into a year full of hope? However, amid the panic, voices also emerged that tried to balance the narrative. Some ARMY reminded others that there were no official reports regarding Jungkook suffering an injury, that he appeared to be fine after the incident, and that speculating too far could instead create additional pressure on the idol himself. "Thank God JK is fine, hopefully no injury," wrote one fan, a sentence that reflects an emotional duality, gratitude mixed with concern that has not fully subsided. This discussion ultimately led to an ironic temporary conclusion. The video itself may not be dangerous, or at least may not have resulted in a serious injury. Yet its emotional impact is very real. It reopened conversations about boundaries, safety, and responsibility, both within the group and between idols and fans. It also revealed how fragile emotional trust can be when it is built upon an image of physical strength and professionalism. Keep following official updates from @BTS_WT and Weverse. May 2026 be filled with health, music, and happiness for Jungkook and BTS.